Welcome to the Knowledge Entrepreneurs Show, where we celebrate the innovators driving change in the education industry. At Edison OS, we've worked with over 500 knowledge entrepreneurs to turn their EdTech ideas into profitable businesses. Hi, Shadman. Good evening. Welcome to the Knowledge Entrepreneur Show. Thank you so much for taking your time out to be a part of the show today.
Thank you, and I'm really excited to be invited here, and I look forward to the opportunity to speaking and actually sharing my experience to the young budding entrepreneurs and also like-minded people all across the different communities of different areas. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure,
Mm.
Shadman. Yeah. So, Shadman, can you, before we get into, your company, Sohupati, can you talk to us about your journey?
Mm.
What kind of, up until the point you decided to take entrepreneurship?
Okay. So thank you so much once again. So basically, I think even though our company is 3 years old, but I think the route of like starting something on my own that started actually almost 7 to 8 years back. And I think what inspired me for this was like basically two things. So first of all, if I talk about my background, so I'm a computer science graduate. So I completed my graduation 5 years back. And alongside that, I'm also very proud to share that I've been in the teaching industry for around 10 years or so in Bangladesh. So when I started my university life, so what I always felt that like as a software engineer, we worked on different projects, creating like different softwares. But most of the cases, I always felt sad that the projects that we're building for university, some of them were very wonderful projects, but at the end of the term, so just they kept in the Google Drive project as a link, and it was never used, and it didn't actually get any real life interaction. So that
Right.
thing actually made me very sad that yeah, I'm actually coding, creating lots of wonderful things, but actually I do not get the opportunity to impact people.
Right.
So thinking about that, I was like, from my university life, I always was very what should I say, I was very restless in terms of thinking what can I do, or something that I can do to impact the community, right? So back then, since I was also involved in teaching, I thought that yeah, I've been working in the teaching industry, and also I have that passion for doing something. So why not combine these two together and like try to build something up? So that's how actually initially the idea came up. But I think we're not I was not in a state to actually launch a company and do something straight away. But the thing was, I was exploring it right from like 2016 or 2017, and I was basically like sharing ideas with people, talking with different what should I say, like my friends, classmates, batchmates from my university, and also like other people, just to see like how they think about it and stuff. So during that time, I had no idea like how a startup operates, or even how a business basically operates, because none of my family members or close people are from business background or stuff. So
Right.
basically what I was trying to do was basically try to do something meaningful. I didn't know like I have to do a business or start a startup, nothing like that. But the main concept was like trying to do something that I can actually do to impact real people's lives. So, like talking and exploring, going through all of this, I successfully, actually, fortunately, basically, got to bond with some people from my university who are actually sharing same type of concepts. Like they also wanted to build something, and they were also like feeling that yeah, if they can get a team or they can work together, that would be great to start something off. So I think that's how Sohupati actually came to birth, and basically the initial part was that what we're trying to solve initially was to build a platform, or so do something where students can get connected with the best teachers all around the country. So that was the first thinking, because as I said that since 2013 I have been in the teaching industry in Bangladesh. So what I observed, and also my co-founders as well, so all of us have shared the same point of view. So we observed that there is a huge gap in terms of access to best quality teachers in like rural areas. Especially there is a huge gap in there, like in comparing urban and rural areas. So there are good teachers everywhere, they in those localities basically, but they do not get the opportunity to serve people all around the country. And also another thing is that being, I should say, being a very much privileged kid, like born in Dhaka city, the capital of Bangladesh. So we had the access to the most top quality teachers and also the study materials and schools and colleges here. So I'm very lucky to have that opportunity. But what I found out was that these teachers, they do not actually get that exposure outside Dhaka. And so the huge amount of students across Bangladesh, they do not get connected there. So thinking about all that, we thought about why not build a platform where we can like combine these type of people, two type of personas together, the students and the popular teachers together, build a social type of platform and then actually move along. So the initial launch was basically in the form of more like a question answer platform like Stack Overflow or Quora, you can say. That's very much similar to relate with, where students can pose their problems and teachers and others can actually solve those problems together. So
Right.
more like a social time interactive website. That's how we started with. Yeah.
Got it, Shadman. Thank you for walking me through this initial phase. You said, but let me, go back to your, before I come to talk about your startup. You said, you had experience teaching. You've been teaching since 10 years
Hmm.
now, right?
Yeah.
What are the things that you learned as a person? Like, what are the challenges that you identified in the teaching community or in the student community?
Okay. So I think starting as my like perspective as a teacher. So the challenges that I have found out that in terms of my experience is that the first thing is there is I feel that there is a gap in terms of how should I say that teachers do not have that opportunity to upskill themselves by interacting with fellow teachers. I think that's one thing I feel that there is a huge gap because as a teacher I feel that if you want to improve yourself you need to learn day by day, but you cannot actually learn on your own because when you actually are learning on your own, so you get stuck in a shell.
Right,
So what I felt was one thing that was missing is that there are good teaching in different styles. Yeah, so each and every teacher has the different styles, but I think that part was pretty much missing in the teaching community, that if the teachers could learn from each other and improve them day by day. So that's one thing. And in terms of the student community, so the one of the challenges that the students actually faced was that as I said that demographically there is a very huge dividend, because as I said that in the top cities in Bangladesh the students have a very good access to good teachers, quality teaching facilities and everything, but that's not the case in the suburban or all the rural areas. So in that case, unfortunately, they have to stay satisfied with not the highest amount of quality of teaching, and that actually creates a big gap. So having said that, since online and internet technologies have come up, and like not only Sohapati, I think there are quite a few good edtech startups, and also YouTube is also playing a huge role because many of the education facilities have moved to YouTube. So the access is there, but once again, the challenges that the students found out is that not all of them have that access to smartphones, high quality but fast internet and stuff. And even internet is very expensive in Bangladesh. So compared to India, I guess it's very expensive. So all those factors putting into it, I think the students actually they are enthusiast one. They know that yeah, they have the access, but they do not have that, what should I say, the logistical support, right? So that's
right,
one part. And overall I think I talked about the teachers part, about the improving the teachers training aspect, the students part in terms of the access to teachers and stuff. And I think overall as an ecosystem, the challenge I would like to denote a lot is that I think most of our education is driven towards like academic success. I think almost 90 to 95% of the part, and specifically since we are involved in the K-12 education part, so I actually feel that there is very little connection with like real life skills development and also getting you prepared for the future life. So that's very much missing in the curriculum. So 90 to 95% of the teaching system or the whole ecosystem was actually based on academic success, like the public exams, SSC, HSC admission, and these sort of things. So that's, I think I would identify it as a challenge because I think what we have been observing is that as the days go along, so the more and more graduates we get, it means that more and more unemployed people are actually growing up. And that's basically an alarming case for us. And I think that was a challenge that I felt that needs to be addressed, and that needs to be addressed together at an early age, so that the young students, they are actually prepared to face the real world. And I think it's not only a challenge for the students but also for the teachers, because teachers are also not well equipped. Like, they do not know, not all the teachers do not know how to prepare the children for the next generation. And the students, the parents, they are also so much actually fascinated about academic success, so they tend to actually skip that, yeah, there is a world beyond that academics, and that's actually the real world that you will be facing. So yeah, that's pretty much it that I faced, and I think it's relatable not only in Bangladesh but this whole subcontinent as a
Yeah,
whole.
yeah. It is, yes. Maybe, one thing is, I didn't know access to internet was a difficult thing in Bangladesh and it's so
Yeah.
expensive. May I know how much does it cost for 1 GB of internet?
So currently it depends on like various type of packages. Like for example, the number of days you have access. But for 3 days, if you subscribe to 1 GB mobile data, so it costs around like 40 to 50 taka.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what about
and I
the
think yeah.
broadband connections?
Sorry.
Broadband connection.
Okay, okay. So the broadband connections, actually it's not accessible in like not very much accessible in the suburban and rural areas. But I think in those cases, mostly there are like smartphones or mobile data that people rely on. Broadband connections are very popular in the like urban areas, urban cities. But I think the net packages, it varies from like 500 to 2000 taka. So that varies on different bandwidths, different models and stuff. But I think that access is not for everyone. And yeah.
Got it. And Shadman, you spoke about the
Mm,
challenges.
mm.
From your point of view, these are the problems that there are, to be solved. Does Sohopati solve all of these problems?
So I think that's a good question, but I think what we initially, when we started the company, or when we started to build our vision, I should say, because initially we did not know that you have to go as a company, you have to raise funds and that sort of stuff. That actually came along as we stumbled along the way. So
Right.
the thing is, I would like to share is that initially we thought that, yeah, one company or one person can solve all problems, because initially we thought that we will be like a guardian angel for the students and all of the teaching community. But actually, that's not the practical case, because if you want to actually solve all the problems together, you actually cannot do that alone. You need to actually have a whole team, like whole army to solve the problems. So what we initially, we actually focused on a lot of problems, but later on we moved away. So later on, we were very focused or super specific currently on what we are currently looking to do now. But that doesn't mean that we'll be always focusing on this. But as we grow or as we go along, expand, so we'll be focusing on the other aspects as well. So if you talk about our focus area, so basically, I would say that we are mostly focused on grade 9 to grade 12 students of Bangladesh, because this is a very important and transitional period. That's the first thing. There is a very huge base of students in there. So that's the part we're targeting. And the second thing is that currently we are actually focused on two things: academics and skill development in parallel. So the academics part came in because it's natural, because the students and parents, they have to be aligned with that. So it actually makes sense to build a platform centering that. So that's one thing. But we're, as I said, that I'm very we are actually very much concerned that, yeah, we need to prepare students for the future skills as well. So we are actually building a platform where the students can get that academic access as well, and also slowly prepare them for the skill development part as well. But as we go along, so what we're planning is that the platform would actually serve students starting from age 15, that is around like grade 8 or grade 9, up to like 25 to 26, that is up to the end of university graduation. So what they would come is that when they come to the platform, initially they come in as a high school student, and initially they get access to like the academic contents, courses, good teachers, and slowly they can transition themselves to skill development, preparing themselves for jobs. During university graduation, there might be the university courses and stuff, and finally when they graduate, they can actually have a full journey of 10 years, so that they can say that, yeah, I started my high school from here, and then I have prepared myself, and I have actually prepared myself and launched myself for the real world after I get away from the platform. So that's pretty much the target. And let's see how it goes. And I think the way we are solving the problem, so there are multiple ways and multiple aspects of it. So currently, what we are focusing on is like bringing in the teachers, and the teachers, as I said, that they are what we feel at the heart of education in the whole subcontinent in India. So subcontinent. So basically, what we're trying to do is the bringing in the good teachers in the platform, best teachers, and enabling the students to get direct access with them, like through connecting through them in their study groups, in free groups, or also taking their courses. So yeah, that's it.
Got it, Shadman. What does Sohapati mean?
Oh, it means classmates.
Oh, okay, cool, got it.
In Bengali, it's a Bengali word, and it means classmates.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Shadman, so you said, you started off in a certain way, and over a period of 3 years, it has evolved and, it's streamlined.
Mhm.
Could you talk about that evolution? Where did you start off, and what are the
Mhm.
realizations or learnings that you had along the way? And
Okay.
yeah, how different is the platform today when compared to the day it
Mhm.
started off?
Okay. So I think when we started, the first thing that we thought that, yeah, it's more like a community service. So everything was free in the platform. Students can do anything at their will and stuff. But as we grew along, so what I felt that in terms of making a platform sustainable, you need to have a very solid business model, and around that you can actually grow your business. So that was the
Right,
first realization that came up, because after a while, when we started with a lot of enthusiasm, we had like a whole bunch of team that were actually working without any salary payroll, just out of passion, right? But I think that didn't go along very well after a certain amount of time, because we felt that if we want to retain these people, we want to have a regular cash flow. And the second thing is, in order to build a big team, we need to have a sustainability plan.
right,
So I think that was the first learning, and then we felt that, yeah, if we want to build something impactful, like in education, sometimes it seems like education is a like there is a like free type of tag attached to education. It seems like, yeah, you cannot have any business based on education, or
right, right,
like that type of feel comes up. But the first realization that I found out, that, yeah, if we want to actually serve a lot of people, billions of people, millions and billions of people, then you must have that business model and sustainability plan in place at first. So basically, what initially was free, so we initially we kept those features, but we also provided a way so that we can transition between the both of them. So
right,
currently as well, part of the platform is free, and currently, initially we only had questions, but now students, the teachers, they can upload video contents, they can create their own courses, they can upload their own learning materials. A portion of them is free, and a portion of them is also paid. So it's more like a subscription based model. And I think the first learning was from there, that in order to sustain, you have to build a business model around it. So that was my first learning. And the second thing was that I think as an entrepreneur, and also like many might be actually listening or hearing, watching this show. So basically, another thing that struck my mind was that initially when we started the platform, we are very passionate about what should I say? We're very passionate about launching the features that we were excited about. But that's a big mistake, basically, because we are not using the platform, right? The platform is
right,
being used by the students and the teachers as a whole. So we actually learned it the hard way, that our first one or two iterations, whatever we built, we had to throw it away completely. That's very expensive, but we had no choice, because
right,
what we are building and what we're trying to maintain, that actually has no traction. So we have to
right,
actually move away from that and try to build a platform in such a way, so that actually we are building something that the students and the teachers, the users, actually really want. So that's another thing that we learn through the journey and actually trying
Right.
to iterate it as the days goes along. And another third part is that I think it doesn't have to go with all like it's a global message, but I think in terms of subcontinental concept or specifically to be more specific in Bangladesh, so I would say that the student base or the people we are working with or our customers, so I think they are not very much tech savvy. So another mistake that we were making or another learning that came up is that initially we were investing a lot on technology. It's been a pretty much while that we're investing so much on technology, but that actually isn't meaningful. Like for example, we are building a very high tech product, like based on AI and everything, and all sort of like jargons, that sort of things in tied up in the platform. So what happens is that yeah, it looks cool from the outset, and being engineers we actually feel a lot of satisfaction. Yeah, this type of platform is so cool, and all our co-founders are also engineers, so that's why we had some passion to yeah build something hard tech or stuff. But that the problem is that the users that are working with we are working with, they're not at all fascinated. Rather, they actually face a lot of trouble if we actually make it a bit more less accessible or hard to use.
Right.
So that's also one thing that what we felt that at least in our geography, in edtech I should say, or in education technology, education comes first and technology comes second. But
Right.
we are
Right.
actually doing it in the reverse way, initially building a huge type of platform and then trying to fit in users by force. So that doesn't happen actually. So basically, what we did or what we're transitioning, even now as well, we are actually transitioning to more focusing on the education part, the ed part, and bringing in the tech later on when actually the support is needed. And it's a long-term process. Actually, I would say that from my experience, I would say that the EdTech ecosystem in Bangladesh, it still needs a long time to get matured, like around 5 to 10 years from my observation. So it's a matter of actually just staying in the market and trying to understand how the users are wanting the platform to be, wanting education to be served, and that's how actually evolving. And another observation I would like to denote that during the COVID-19 situation, so almost all of the teachers in Bangladesh went online, and I think that's the case globally.
Right.
So previously, when a teacher, they did not even know like how to operate a Facebook group, how to upload a YouTube video. Almost all of them have their presence or footprint online. So as a result, what happened is that most of the students now think that online education means YouTube or Facebook. So that's pretty much really the case, because in
Right.
YouTube and Facebook, they can actually find their favorite teachers, favorite contents, and everything.
Right.
So in that case, that also comes to refers to the point that you do not need to build the technology right away on your own, because the students more care about where they will find the contents. They do not care about how fancy the tech is or what sort of stuff. That is important, but that comes later on. So I think that's another realization that I felt, and I think a message that I'd also like to give to others who might be thinking of starting a edtech business or working in the edtech industry. So I would of course say that focus on the education part first, and then try to support it with technology, not like building a technology first and then supporting it with education. That's not how it goes.
Got it, Shadman. Shadman, you said that, one of the first things that you said is you built the features that you were excited about and you didn't think about what people wanted, which is a very understandable thing. But it's also not easy to figure out what people want. How did you go about finding out what the users really wanted?
Okay, I think that's actually an iterative process, and actually we're improving on it day by day. I think I would not say that we're perfectly a maestro of that already, but we're still learning, already improving day by day. But I
Right.
think since we were being in the education industry, so some things actually helped us a lot. Like we actually know how the students and the students, teachers, and the parents actually think, because the mindset we can relate it very easily. So the way of finding out how the customers want the platform, the students want the platform. So I think two things helped a lot. So first of all, actually building a focus group of students who actually are very much fascinated about your platform. So,
Right.
and that was very much easy to build, because I think me being a teacher as well, so I was also initially involved very like deeply as a teacher in the platform. So I had my own student fan base, and alongside that, I had also some start teachers who also had their own specific fan base. So the thing that we focused on was to build something that our fan base actually wants. So
Right.
that was one way to actually make it easier, because you cannot actually, there are so many, like I should say, around like in 170 million people in Bangladesh. So there are a huge portion of them are students.
Hmm.
Like I should say around like 4 to 5 million in the high school level. So you cannot actually hit a stone and say, yeah, what do you want in a platform? That doesn't come up in this way. You have
Correct.
to build a focus group around that. So that's how we actually thought about building the features. So building a focus group first, then like talking with them, talking with and try to understand what they want, how they want. But that's one part. And secondly, as well, actually, we were observing how the students are interacting in the other online portals like in YouTube and Facebook. Which
Right.
teachers are they following? How are the contents? How are they organized? How do they feel comfortable? So these are the two things that we try to follow. And another thing is that completely blindly following the users, there is a trade-off as well. So the problem is, uh, if I actually talk with 10 students, they would say that 10 features are important. So because students have different type of needs or
Yeah.
demands.
Yeah.
So there is a fact about like prioritizing. So that part actually comes second, but at first you can identify the needs, and then you actually cannot build 10 features as a whole. So you have to build one, then build the other, and then so that's where actually our experience, or I should say that observation on like what would actually increase our traction as a whole. That's where the decision comes along, because as a whole, as I said, that if you try to listen to all of your customers, that's also a trap. Not listening to any of them, that's a trap. Listening to all of them is also a trap. So you have to listen to them, but I should say that finally you have to implement something that you should say that that would benefit the traction or benefit the impact as a whole. So that's how I feel that you should go about it. But yeah, as I say, that as I grow along, or as the team grows, company grows later on, so I might have like if later on I have insights to share, that would be different. But I think starting from scratch, this should be the way to go.
Got it, Shadman. Shadman, you said, you built the features that you guys were excited about, but then the users wanted something else. What were those features that you built thinking that would be useful versus what did the students actually want?
Okay, so I think as I said that initially we had a whole like question answer platform. So where the students can ask questions on different chapters. So then what we did was that we are really fascinated of like making it more automated and robust. So what we did was that we added like the different type of chapters, different type of tag systems, different tags basically. The text is like when a student is asking a question, they can tag that this is on physics, this is on this topic, this is on like this subtopic and all sort of stuff. So
Right.
we feel that if that happens, it's very easy in two ways. First of all, to find out the relevant questions. And the second thing is that later on we can actually build an intelligent system where we can recommend students with different type of stuff and all this. But what we found out was that the students found out very difficult to actually use the whole system, because in that case they have to put in a lot of inputs, like not
Mm.
only the question alongside the chapters, topics, subtopics, very much overwhelming for them. And as a result, what we felt that yeah, we'll be getting a lot of data, millions and millions of questions, but the opposite thing happened. Previously, when we were getting 1,000 questions, we were only getting 10 questions, because as soon as the student hits the question button, they get so overwhelmed or scared that they move away. So, so that was one thing. And that many of the cases we found out that we were actually making things more and more complicated. So the
Right.
things that the students actually wanted, what I felt that there are two things that was very important.
Right.
What we found out that first of all, the students want to have a like have a feeling that they are directly in touch with the teachers. Like somehow they have to make them feel that you are directly able to interact or connect with the teacher.
Right.
So it can be through a simple chat. it can be through a simple video or live class, but you have to make them feel that someone human is connected with you.
Right.
And that's not actually the way we were thinking, because what we were thinking was making it more and more technology based, more or less interactive, but the students wanted it to be as much as interactive as possible. And
Right.
the second thing is that they wanted to avoid, like, most of, I think all of the users, they actually want to give as less input as possible and get as much result as possible. So that's why later on, so initially, when we actually focused on the platform, later on we decided to switch to Facebook as well to see like how the students respond, because
Right.
in Facebook students were already there. It was easy
Right.
for them to connect, collaborate, and then like we built some study groups in Facebook. We actually launched some online courses in Facebook through like secret Facebook groups, and like observing the behavior from the students in there, we then actually rolled out the features in our product as well. So went in the reverse way.
Great, great. That is wonderful to know. Uh, you spoke about another problem that for you to sustain, for you to do something,
Mm,
you have to figure out a
mm,
way to sustain and then, create a
mm,
business model. Initially it was
mm.
free. Uh, when you made it free, you thought you wanted to let it go for free, or you thought, okay, starting we'll keep it free and then we'll charge it.
So basically, I would say, like, to be honest, like in the first 2 to 3 months, we actually wanted to make as much as impact as possible. And initially, I think it's okay to share that we had sort of an hesitation that will people actually ever pay for something that will launch. So initially, that's why we were not sure. Like in the middle, that yeah, we understand that we need to make it a sustainable model, but since we never actually rolled out anything like that, and as I said, that we had some lack of experience, we felt that actually, if we launch something as paid, we are scared basically rather will it actually drop off the users a lot more. Like
Okay.
previously, when the platform was free, we were getting a lot of traction. But as soon as I like bring in something in terms of like paid model or something like that, will that actually scare the users? And I think that's also logical to think, because unfortunately, there is a lot of scamming going on as well. So there are good platforms,
Right.
good teachers, and everything, but alongside that, there is a lot of scamming going along as well. So I think building that point of credibility and trust when you actually bring in a paid model or anything like that, so that's very hard to actually think of. So that's why initially we're hesitant, but as we grew along, we felt that yeah, initially if we have a very loyal base of customers, on top of that we can build the model. But if we actually think of making it a paid platform right away, we'll not get students, because I think trust is a very big factor in
Right.
this part of the world.
Got it, Shadman. So, Shadman, basically, you wanted to keep it for free for a certain amount of time,
Mm,
6 months or 1 year, and later you
mm,
wanted to charge.
mm.
That was your plan initially, also.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it. So, what's your business model right now? Like, where is your revenue coming from?
Okay. So basically, we have two types of subscription. So the first of all, the students can, like as I said, that a portion of the platform is free, and students can actually join in different courses launched by different teachers. So each
Right,
of the courses have a certain amount of payment attached to it. Like I would say the range varies from like $5 to $10 per month on an average on different courses. And
right,
also we had also launched a whole platform type of subscription, like they can actually subscribe to on a certain academic level, and they can actually get access to all the content, all the paid courses or paid contents of that academic level. So that's one tier, and another tier is that they can individually subscribe as well. So that is how the money comes along. And in terms of like the how it is actually split, so basically, the teachers get a split of that revenue. So and the rest goes to Sohapati. So that's how it's more like a revenue sharing part.
got it. So, your platform, when teachers join, let's say I'm a teacher, I want to join Sohupati, right?
Mm.
Uh,
Hmm.
I come to Sohapati thinking that Sohapati is a place where I can sell my product. Students are going to come.
Hmm.
Of course,
Hmm.
with all due respect to education, I'm just talking from a numbers point of view.
Hmm.
So, as a teacher, what are the rules that I need to follow in terms of rules in the sense, not like what are the business models I have? Can I only put recorded courses and sell it, or
Hmm.
do I have to be there? Like you said, one of the biggest things you
Hmm.
learned was there has to be another human being at the other end for your students that come in. So, do teachers come and go live and they start teaching?
Okay. So, what we found out was that if we could actually make all the classes live, so that would have been the best model.
Right,
But that's not scalable and that's
right,
not
right,
practical.
right,
So basically, we actually tried with a lot of models. We tried full recorded videos, full
right.
live classes, and everything. So what we found out was that, like, if we bring in recorded videos, only
Right.
recorded videos,
Hmm.
so in that case, the traction is very low. Students do not tend to actually enjoy because, as I said, that they miss that live interaction. And
Right.
recorded videos, they feel like, yeah, I can find it in YouTube. What's the difference here? Right.
Right. Right.
So that's it. And the second part is that in terms of live classes, students get a lot of like there is a lot of buzz in there. But I think even after that, I think it's very hard to scale in there. And another problem is that students nowadays they have so much busy schedule that sometimes they tend to skip the live classes as well. So combining all of them, so currently we have a hybrid model. So first of all, students, so the teachers, they have to upload a certain amount of recorded videos, like it's on their own. They can subdivide the topics and stuff. And on top of that, what we have currently kept is that they host regular live classes. Like it's not like rigorously 3 to 4 classes
Right.
per
Right.
week,
Right.
rather
Right.
one class per week, or 2 classes in 15 days. And that's more attached to like the problem solving sessions. So
Right.
it's more
Right.
like they have watched the videos and they can share their problems and interact in there. And alongside that, I think we have designed it like a Facebook group or group type of stuff. So students can continuously interact through chat and messages with the teacher. So the interaction goes along right away. But I think most of the learning is done through the recorded contents and notes. The
Right.
problem solving is done through live classes and also through the chat section. So that's how we have planned the platform.
Got it, Shadman. And this is supposed to be an after-school platform, right?
Yeah, this is a after school platform.
Okay, got it. Because these are the teachers in the daytime who work in the schools.
Two types of teachers. First of all, some of them they're working in schools, and some of them are like freelancers. Like freelancers, as in
Right.
say, many university students who have have very good teaching skills, and they're
Right.
very like popular in like one-to-one as well. Like many of
Right.
the students actually hire these type of people for their like home tuition and everything, and they also teach in different coaching centers. So they do not necessarily have to be professional teachers, but someone
Right.
who has a good knack of the subject and has some experience, they're good to go.
Got it. Now, coming to the, going to the market with your product, right? You said how many teachers do you have and how many students do you have on the platform registered?
Okay, so I think in terms of the current registered student base, so currently we have like around 50,000 students registered in the platform in terms of our app and website traction. Like if you talk about the community size, like in Facebook and social media, it's pretty big. It's over like close to 400,000. But if you talk about the focused users, it's around 50,000. And so far, we have actually worked with around like 60 plus teachers from different areas of Bangladesh. So,
Right.
like from Dhaka, Chittagong, Rajshahi, and also some of the core centers of the year who are actually serving here. And I think if you talk about the split, I think 60% of 16, I should say 70% of them are actually kind of freelance type, and 30% of them are like professional teachers teaching from uh, different schools and colleges.
Got it. 50,000 is the paid users. Is that what you're saying?
No. 50,000 is registered users, but talking about paid users, I think around 10% of them are currently paying. So around 5 to 6,000, they are actually paying on a regular basis.
Got it. How are you marketing your product as of now, Shadman?
So far, I think we were actually in the process of fundraising. So in order to actually market the product through like their offline activities. So far, what we felt that offline activities are very expensive, but also very
Right.
effective. Huh? And especially partnering up with different schools and colleges can be a very good strategy to go. But since we do not have that runway or do not have that cash flow, so we were actually mainly focusing on online. So two things that we have been doing pretty well. First of all, like going targeting the social media channels very well, and building school and college based ambassadors. So like they are from different schools and colleges who are actually working for us. More like I should say a mixture of affiliate and ambassadors. So they can actually
Hmm.
bring in their classmates, their friends, and similar people in their locality to our platform for an incentive, and also for some like cool certifications and perks, and that's how they're growing the platform. And alongside that, in terms of like targeting the social media channels, so what we did was or what we're doing is that we're actually acquiring some popular student groups. So that might sound a bit interesting but a bit different. So what we're doing is that currently almost for each and every class level, like for grade 9, 10, 11, 12, for
Right.
each
Right.
level, there are what should I say? So there are popular student groups
Hmm.
like that are like I should say 200,000, 300,000, even 1 million
Right.
students in there, connected in there. So we are actually partnering up with them, or like more like acquiring those groups, like they're talking with the admins, their management, and actually trying to make it a flagship group of Sohapati. So where we can actually market our product or do all sorts of stuff. So that is actually very less expensive channel, because the people we are working with, they are also students, like the admins or the people in the management. So
Right.
they are also students. So it's actually not very expensive to actually acquire those groups. Just they're actually working for us with a payroll, but that's pretty much lower than actually that would feel. And another thing is that since they're very much close with the students, so we do not need to actually guide them in terms of like what the students would like or how we should design those products, because when you actually hire a professional, so they're pretty much senior, so they have to actually go back to that student level, they have to bond to that level.
Right. Right. Right.
So that actually is much more expensive. So these are the two ways we are working on, but again, as I said, that it's a very big market, and a lot of should I say that educating the market needs to be done in a lot closer level, because we're still at the tip of the iceberg. So what we want is that if we could actually raise a bigger amount of funding, so later on we would actually penetrate the market through rigorous offline marketing through different schools and colleges. So that's how I wanted to go about it.
Got it. Got it, Shadman. Um,
Yeah.
Shadman, you know, can you talk about your funding process so far? Where are you? Are you in the process of raising another round of fund?
Yeah, we are actually in the process. We are actually in the process of raising another round of fund, and actually we're trying to look for VC investors so that they can actually bring in not only bring in value with the money, but they can also like they understand the market and actually
Right.
guide us
Right.
through different process like the strategy, hiring, and everything.
You said you said acquiring user groups, right? What did you mean by acquiring user groups? Meaning, did you want to use that group to promote Sohapati, or
Yeah, I think two ways. So first of all, we wanted to use the groups to promote our platform. That's of course one thing.
hmm,
And also another important part of like these groups is to bringing in more people, as in like we're building a bigger group of ambassadors, I should say, affiliates and stuff. And also
got it?
maybe as the days goes along, because since it's our group we're working on, so
Right.
maybe we can actually also do some experiments on that before we make more product releases, product launches, more features. So that's another thing we are wanting to focus.
Got it. And what? So you said an interesting thing that it's a very premature market. It's very early stages. It's a long way to go. You just have to sustain in the market, right? You just have to be there present. How are you planning to do that? I mean, do you are you is funding the most important thing for you, or can you sustain even without funding?
So I think talking about the current scenario, so I would say that only like thinking about raising funds and it would come right away. I think that should not be thought about because practically speaking, it's very difficult to raise funds, and this situation would tend to go along in the next 2 to 3 years as well. So basically, we of course we want to keep an eye on the funding, like try to access different channels or export different channels. So that's one part of it, but that's in the hindsight, I would say. But I think on top, what we're trying to do is that we are more looking to focus on how we can actually increase our sales channels. So in terms of doing that, first of all, trying to remove some reliance on on the technical team. So
Right.
basically, we're more trying to reduce the tech team as much as possible, because if we actually now focus heavily on tech, that wouldn't actually bring in a lot of impact. Rather, we are actually more focused on like bringing in the popular teachers because they drive the life cycle of the platform, focusing more on operations and reducing the like burn in terms of like reliance on technology. So that's how actually we're looking to do so that we can stay in the market, have a actually even if not significant, but at least have a meaningful standpoint so that from there when you get a good launchpad in terms of funding, or even if we can actually make it a more should I say a sales heavy channel, sales heavy platform, then we can focus on the growth aspect. So that's the plan. I think over the at least the next 1 to 2 years, I would say that that should be the way to go along, and that's how we are actually focusing on, so that we do not actually go washed away from the market right away just because of lack of funding. So funding is of course an important part because other than that, it's really difficult to grow. And I think
Right.
the market we're working on, it really requires a lot of funds to actually reach to the root levels, reach to the actual users all across the different geographies. But I think that's not the case right now because right now it's not a practical time to focus on that or rely on that. So it's more like focusing on how you can actually bring in more like sustainability. And we are super focused on like doing all those stuff that actually ensures that.
Got it, Shadman. Shadman, you must have heard there's, my final question maybe, uh, there's this AI wave that's going on, right? Chat GPT, there's AI for everything. And even in EdTech space, there's AI. Do you feel threatened, or do you feel, AI is going to just take over? You will not have any purpose, or you will not have any use. Your company, do you think, do you have the fear where you will become irrelevant because of AI?
Okay, so I had been like thinking of some aspects that is it possible to actually automate teaching? So I have been thinking of this option like over the last 5 to 6 years. Like, is there actually a possibility to automate the teaching part completely? So I think I would say that uh, from my thinking over the 5 to 6 years, I felt that it's naturally not 100% possible. So I
Right.
think we can actually replace some of the experiences and everything. But I think in terms of the teaching and education part, one thing that comes up that's very, very important is each and every student is different, right?
Right. Right.
And so when you are actually delivering as a teacher, when you're actually reaching out to students,
Right.
so I think it's very important to understand those students' mindsets and actually deliver the contents, lectures, or everything according to that. So
Right.
basically, even if we actually have an AI that is actually trying to deliver lectures, contents, and education, so I would say that it won't actually come close to the perfection of a teacher who is skilled, because that experience of like tailoring your lessons, tailoring your contents, and everything according to the classroom's needs, to students' needs, and understanding everything. So that's actually very difficult to actually
Right,
replace
right,
with an AI right away. But I think what AI could do is that AI could actually smoothen a lot of processes. Like
right, right,
for a teacher, many of the things in some cases a teacher needs to learn a new thing, or a teacher, when a teacher wants to deliver something, maybe he or she might be unsure like how I'm going to impart this. So in that case, AI could be a great assistant for him or her. But I would not say that basically AI would totally replace the whole experience and everything. But the thing that I would be concerned is that the companies or the like the people who would be using AI smartly, they would actually survive. But actually, the ones who will not be actually concerned about that at all, I think that's a threat for them. So basically, I would say that it's not necessarily bringing AI in each and every aspect of the business. That's, I think, I'm not a fan of that. I would say that bringing some of the components of that to the company and to the parts that are most meaningful, that can actually increase efficiency and productivity. I think
right.
that should be the focus. So be it EdTech or be it any other industry, that should be the focus.
Got it, Shadman. Shadman, it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing all the details that you
Mhm.
did. It was very interesting to know what is the current state of the edtech domain in Bangladesh there. I wish you all the very best, for your next 2 to 3 years. I think what you said is about you said about sustaining, just being there, wait for the market to kind of become mature. Sometimes businesses can be early, and market may not be ready for it. And if that's the case, I think you just have to figure out a way to wait for the market to
Yeah.
kind of mature. So yeah, I think you're on that journey at this point, and I wish you all the very best for that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and especially your learnings when you started out building your product and what is the reality out there. I think that's the most important thing. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and yeah, have a good day.